You know that feeling when you use your favorite app? You tap a button and boom, it just works. It's kind of like a little magic box, right? You put something in, a click, some text, and you get something you want out. But have you ever wondered how we know that magic is actually reliable? Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to see how software testers make absolutely sure that magic works every time, even when they have no clue what's going on inside that box.
So right away, we hit a huge question, right? Imagine you're a tester. They hand you a piece of software and it's completely sealed off. You can't see the code, you don't know the logic buzzing away in there. So how in the world do you even start to check if it's working properly? I mean, it sounds almost impossible, but it turns out there's a really clever method designed for this exact problem.
And that's where this awesome idea comes in: black box testing. The name pretty much says it all. You treat the software like a totally sealed, opaque box. No idea what gears or wires are inside. All you can do is control what you put in, we call those the inputs, and then you carefully watch what comes out, the outputs. That's it. The whole goal is just to see if the box does what it's supposed to do, based only on those inputs and outputs.
Okay, so let's put on our detective hats for a minute. To really crack this black box mystery, we first have to get into the mind of the tester.
And this right here is the secret sauce of the whole technique. The tester intentionally becomes the user. They don't need to be a coding genius. They just need to understand what a user is trying to do. Think about testing a login page. A black box tester isn't worried about encryption algorithms. Nope, they're trying a correct password, then a wrong one, then one that's way too long. Maybe they'll even try to log in with no password at all. All they care about is if the box reacts exactly how a user would expect it to.
Now, you might be thinking this is all about just clicking around randomly. But thinking like a user is actually part of a super structured, methodical process. It's designed to be really thorough and efficient.
See, this isn't guesswork at all. It's a solid, repeatable cycle. It all kicks off with the requirements, basically understanding the promises the software made. From there, testers design very specific test cases to check those promises. Then they run the tests, feeding inputs into the system and carefully verifying the outputs. And what if there's a mismatch? Well, they report a defect. And once it's fixed, the whole cycle starts over again with a retest, making sure the bug is gone and that the fix didn't break anything else.
But you know, testing the box isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Depending on what you're trying to find out, black box testing actually comes in 3 different flavors, and each one is designed to hunt for a different kind of problem.
First up, the most basic and probably most important flavor, functional testing. This is the bread and butter, really. It asks a simple question. Does this feature do what it says it's going to do? If you click the Add to Cart button, does the item actually end up in your cart? It's all about checking that the core functions work just like they're supposed to.
Next, we've got regression testing. Okay, think of this like a checkup after surgery. The main problem might be fixed, but the doctor needs to make sure the solution didn't cause any weird side effects, right? It's the same here. Every time developers update the code, testers run regression tests on all the old features to make sure that fixing one bug didn't accidentally break 5 other things that were working just fine before.
And finally, there's non-functional testing. This is where we go beyond just, does it work, and start asking, how well does it work? How fast is it? Can it get hacked? Is it actually easy and enjoyable to use? This covers all those crucial qualities that make software not just functional, but genuinely good. Now, as powerful as this method is, it's not a silver bullet. Looking at the software purely from the outside gives you a unique and valuable perspective, but it also creates some pretty big blind spots. So we've got to look at both the good and the bad.
The advantages are honestly huge. For one, you don't need to know how to code, which means more people can get involved in testing. It's also super efficient for those giant complicated systems where trying to read all the code would be a total nightmare. But the biggest win, by far, is that you are literally testing from a real user's point of view. It's the best way to find the exact problems your customers are going to run into.
But on the flip side, there are those blind spots. Since you can't see inside, you might end up writing a bunch of tests that all check the same little piece of code over and over again. If the initial requirements aren't crystal clear, it's really hard to design good tests. And maybe the biggest issue is that some weird, obscure parts of the code might never get tested at all. You can see the symptom, the bug, but finding what actually caused it can be a serious challenge.
So all those blind spots tell us something really important. Black box testing can't be the only tool in the toolbox. To really get it, we need to zoom out and see where it fits in the entire world of software testing.
So on one side of the spectrum, you've got our black box testing.
the view from the outside, focused on what the user sees. On the total opposite end, you have white box testing. With this, the tester is like an engineer with the full blueprints. They can see all the internal code and logic. They're focused on how the system works inside. So to put it simply, black box asks what does it do, while white box asks how does it do it.
And you probably guessed it, there's a middle ground too. It's called gray box testing, and it's a hybrid. The tester has some knowledge of what's going on inside, but not everything. This lets them design smarter, more targeted tests while still keeping that crucial user perspective. In the real world, the best testing strategies usually mix all three of these together.
In the end, it really all comes down to this. Black box testing is absolutely vital because it acts as that final, ultimate check. It's the moment of truth that proves the software doesn't just work on a technical level, but that it actually delivers on its promises to the one person who matters most, the user.
Which kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. If software really is a black box, can we ever be 100% sure we've found all its secrets? Every hidden flaw, every little bug lurking deep inside the code? That's the fundamental challenge of testing, and honestly, it's what makes this whole field so fascinating.